How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Um, when did you come across this story of Virginia and Vera, and what inspired you to want to tell this story?
Sure. I was actually on a press tour for my last film, Equity, and like kind of had a little free time in the hotel room and was thinking about what I wanted my next film to be. And I knew I did want to do a spy film. I love spy films, but I also wanted to see more, quote unquote, under the hood of what it was really like to be a female spy, the daily job, the daily terror. And when I came across this story of Nor, Virginia, and Vera, and then realized that this movie has never been made, and then realized that their story is incredible. They won just about every award you could possibly win for bravery. It felt
Hmm.
like this movie just had to be made.
Yeah. Uh, when did you? What was the birthing process of making this between the time that you came up with it to the time that we're seeing it released?
Well, I am a mom, and I will tell you, it is much easier to give birth than to give birth to a movie. And by the way, that's not easy. But joking aside, it's like four children, because for me, each movie ranges from 3 to 4 years from, concept,
Hmm.
research, script, fundraising, shooting, post, marketing. So you're in it for the long haul, but I'm just so passionate about these women's stories and how they put their lives on the line for freedom, and we're dangerous spies. And so that really motivated me through any independent filmmaking challenges along the way.
When you were writing the script, were there any films that you drew upon or were interested in paying homage to in this story?
Not specifically for this, but there are films that inspired me in the genre, such as Son of Saul, Life is Beautiful. Like, there were the films that I really respond to in this genre, are very intimate, and are really tales about the human spirit versus necessarily the battle, so to speak.
Hmm.
So that's the story we wanted to tell, this kind of intimate psychological thriller of, are these women going to succeed? Are they going to live?
What were some of the challenges in terms of taking on the multiple roles as star, producer, and then writer as well?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is that as a producer and a writer, you're not necessarily in the moment. You're planning, you're thinking, you're in your head all the time, trying to be, as a producer, 2 steps ahead of any problem anyone's going to bring you. And as an actor, you have to be in the moment. You cannot be in your
Hmm.
head, or you cannot give a good performance. And the buck stops with me in this film. So anytime there's a big problem, I'm going to have to know about it, whether it's an investor falling through or something on set crashing. So for me, to get into character, what I did is I asked for 5 minutes. I had to have 5 minutes, like a warning that I knew before we were shooting. And then I put on some Churchill speeches. And it may sound cheesy, but it really helped get me into the time period, and also putting on the leg, the prosthesis. Those were kind of
Yeah.
the two things that I was like, okay, now I'm here, breathe, and just that stuff can wait till the take's over.
What was the most daunting part about acting with the prosthesis?
I think it was very uncomfortable, the prosthesis, and I had it on at all times, like even in close-ups. There were different variations. Like sometimes it was a wooden leg that was on me tied to my back. Sometimes it was styrofoam when my back went out. So they're all different variations of Cuthbert, which is what she named her prosthesis. But it was physically uncomfortable. And actually, I do think that helped. It was a challenge, but it helped
Hmm.
because you understood the constant pain that Virginia Hall was in every day of her life, and she overcame that, and she made found a way to be incredibly successful despite a limiting disability that didn't limit her at all.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me. I really enjoyed the film.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
Brian.